pro-lifers here, right?
We don't have any right now we're talking about men's rights.
Oh.
Okay. So what's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana, I'm Pearl.
Nice to
meet you.
Rainbow.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Pearl. If a woman has the choice of whether or not she wants to be a mother, right? Should a man have the choice of whether or not he wants to be a father in the name of equality?
Yeah. I mean, everyone has their own choices of what they want to do with their life. So, I mean, if a woman has their own choice of whether they want to be a mother or not, I guess, obviously, if the dad doesn't want to be in the life of their child, then that's up to them.
What do you think?
I'm looking confused. I thought we were talking about pro-life, pro-choice.
No, so what we're talking about, so if I want to get an abortion in the UK, right, I can get an abortion up to 6 months. Yeah. But if a man says, I don't want to be a father, he's still on the hook for child support, and depending on how many kids there are, it's between 13 and 20%. So that incentivizes women to get kids off of rich guys. For example, in the US, the NBA players had a statement being issued out that to flush their condoms because girls were stealing them. And so if we get the right not to be mothers, like, shouldn't they get the right not to be fathers? So they could sign off all their rights and sign off on child support. They don't owe anything.
I mean, if the father doesn't want to be in the child's life, then like,
Can't force them to do what they
and I don't think the child would deserve that then.
Yeah,
to have
it has bad effects on
the
child essentially, because that causes like psychological harm and stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is up to the father, but at the end of the day, like, the child's life, if the child's brought into the world, like, your child's life kind of matters, and whether your child's going to be a happy child or not, or disrupted child, that's kind of up to whether you have one kind of parental figure in their life, or two. Yeah.
And I'm not saying he shouldn't be in their life. I'm just saying, in the name of equality, it should be even. So, like, he shouldn't owe child support. But I think we agree then. Like, he shouldn't be on the hook for child support, because a guy can go to jail for not paying child support.
What, in the UK?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about
They can seize your assets.
Oh, that's a bit crazy. I didn't know that. That's just a bit.
I honestly don't know what the laws are like in the UK. I'm not really.
I mean, I'm from here. I didn't know that. That's quite shocking. I don't know. Yeah.
But it seems like we're all on the same page. You'd be okay with a financial abortion for men?
I wouldn't want, like, I want my child's father to, like, if he doesn't want to be in the father's life, doesn't deserve whether they meant to pay. I wouldn't want them to pay then at that point, you know?
Yeah, if he doesn't want to be there, I don't want him to, like, be forced to kind of pay for everything to do with the child. However, like, me having that experience of, like, growing up with two parents and stuff, it's definitely been a lot better than people that I know that have grown up, like, without a father and without a mother. Like, it's a lot different for them.
Do you think it's better if people are married before they have kids?
Oh, shit happens.
Yeah, stuff. I mean, some people prefer to be in, like, a very committed, like, lockdown relationship before they have children. But I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't married but have kids.
What do you think?
What was the question again?
Do you think it's better for the children if the parents are married before they have them?
No. I mean, I don't
see the impact of.
I
don't see the impact of, like, because there's a lot of people, like, my parents weren't married before they had all their kids, and they only got married probably before their last two kids and had about 5 before that, and all of us have turned out fine. All of us have, you know, stayed like that and whatever. There's a lot of kids out there that their parents aren't married per se, and I don't think that has an impact on.
You think it's more important just to have both parents in the home?
Yeah. Well, to have both parents there, it's more important.
Obviously, ideally, but
ideally,
I think just in the times that we are in now, you can still be a single parent. You can still raise a child. You don't need. Yeah. Obviously, it's ideal, and everyone wants. It's harder, obviously, yeah. But I don't think that. Like, you can still do it. It's still possible. World. You've seen. There's so many people who have, like, raised their child as a single parent, and they've turned out fine. Yeah. And they're strong, and they're all the qualities you want in a child. So.
But statistically, your kid's more at risk if you at, like, every statistical disadvantage.
Obviously, yeah, but, like, it's life. I mean, everything. You won't get everything. You won't always get the marriage, the dream marriage. You won't always. Sometimes you have a kid before marriage, and if So what happens? You try your best, and obviously statistically, yeah, you'd better to have two parents and two figures in the house, in the home. But
Do you think once you get married, it's about the kids' happiness and not yours?
I think there has to be a balance. Obviously, you put your kids before yourself, but
I think even before you're married, like, and you have kids before you're married, you essentially put all your energy and stuff into your child and making your child happy and like having the best life for your child. But there has to be a balance between your happiness,
too. Yeah, you have to take care of yourself,
your personal happiness, and you know, your side of life, as well as your child's side of life. There has to be that balance. But yeah, essentially, like having two parents there and having one parent there, I think nowadays, you know, it's not really too big of a deal having a single parent. But then, like, obviously back in the day, like years and years ago, like when our parents were younger, it would always be seen as like the two parents, it was seen as like you have to have two parents with your child, it's better for your children, blah blah blah. Obviously it's better, but like it's more ideal to have two parents rather than one, because yeah, but I mean, now that's like stereotypical of like it's better and more ideal to have two parents. But nowadays it's like you can raise a child by yourself and be a single parent. Like I've seen it loads.
We're doing public interviews. No? Okay. Hi. Hi, public interviews. Hi. You want to be interviewed? We asked the public in London their opinion on certain topics. Hi, what's your name?
Ellie.
What'd you say?
Ellie.
Ellie? Do you have any social media you want to plug?
No, it's fine.
No?
Yeah.
So today's topic, her body, her choice, right? Do you sense women have the right not to be mothers if they don't want to? Should men have the right not to be fathers if they don't want to?
Yes. For example, I'm not sure how her body, her choice. What's the connection here? Because that's about abortion. Well, let's leave that aside. Women have the right to give up the child for adoption.
Yes.
And yes, men should absolutely have the same right to give up their child for adoption, because that would be really like for like when we talk about the rights. I don't think you can draw a parallel between abortion and men not being fathers, but certainly if you're talking about giving up the child for adoption or disavowing, yeah, then men should have the same right as women, and women do have that right.
Why don't you think it's comparable, abortion and child support?
Abortion is a different question. It's whether the woman has a right to abort the child or not. I mean, even if you might agree that a woman has a right not to have to physically support with her body. I mean, physically, obviously, everything we do is physically, but I mean, you might agree the woman doesn't need to physically give life to the child, and yet you would still think that the woman should have to feed a child if the child is born. And vice versa. You could think that the woman shouldn't be able to kill the child because it's a human being, and yet you could still support the right of the woman or the man to give up the child for adoption. So I don't think you can. I mean, you can be on one side of one argument and the other side the other argument, basically.
Are you pro-life?
Yes, I'd say broadly speaking, yes.
Do you think it should be illegal all of the time?
Probably the best argument could be made for